Tristessa by Jack Kerouac. Page 16. Bottom of the page. I take out my whiskey bottle from the bag, the Kennedy Dry, open both, and pour me a highball in a cup, making one too for Cruz, who just jumped out of bed to throw up on the kitchen floor and now wants another drink. She's been in the cantina for women all day, somewhere back near the Hoor district of Panama Street and sinister Rayon Street with its dead dog in the gutter and beggars on the sidewalk with no hats looking at you helplessly. Cruz is a little Indian woman with no chin and bright eyes and wears high heel pumps without stockings and battered dresses. What a wild crew of people. In America, a cop would have to do a double take seeing them pass, all bewrongled and arguing and staggering on the sidewalk like apparitions of poverty. Cruz takes a highball and throws it up too. Nobody notices. El Indio is holding eyedropper in one hand and little piece of paper in the other, arguing, tense-necked, red, full blast, at a screaming Tristessa whose bright eyes dance to fight it out. The old lady Cruz groans from the riot of it and buries back in her bed, the only bed, under her blanket, her face bandaged and greasy, the little black dog curling against her, and the cat. And she is lamenting something, her drink sickness and El Indio's constant harassing for more of Tristesa's supply of morphine. I gulp my drink. Next door, the mother has made the little girl cry. We can hear her praying little woeful squeals, enough to make a father's heart break. And maybe it might be. Trucks pass, buses loud, growling, loaded to the springs with people riding to Tacuyaba and Rastro and Circunvalacion round rooteries of town. The streets of mess puddles that I am going to walk home in at 2 a.m. Splashing without care through street pools, looking along lone fences at the dismal glimmer of the wet rain shining in the streetlight, the pit and horror of my grit, the vidia tense neck muscles that a man needs to steel his teeth together to press through lonely roads of rain at night with no hope of a warm bed. My head fells and wearies to think of it. Tristessa says, "How is Jack?" She always asks, "Why are you so sad? Muy dolorosa." And as though to mean you are very full of pain, for pain means dolor. I'm sad because oh la vida es dolorosa. I keep replying, hoping to teach her number one of the four great truths. Besides, what could be truer? With her heavy purple eyes, she lids at me the nodding reprisal. Indian-wise understanding the tone of what I said, and nodding over it, making me suspicious of the bridge of her nose where it looks evil and conniving. And I think of her as hooty-hatty salesman in the hell bottoms Kishid Garba never dreamed to redeem. When she looks like an evil Joe of Huckleberry Finn, plotting my demise, El Indio, standing, watching through sad, blackened blue-eye flesh, hard and sharp and clear, the sight of his face, darkly hearing that I say all life is sad, nods, agreeing, no comment to make to me or to anyone about it. Tristessa is bending over the spoon, boiling morphine in it with a match boiler factory. She looks awkward and lean, and you see the lean hocks of her rear in the kimono-like crazy dress, as she kneels prayer fashion over the bed, boiling her bang over the chair which is cluttered with ashes, hairpins, cottons, conch material like strange Mexican eyelash lip makers and teasies and greases, one giblet of a whole bone of junk. That, had it been knocked down, would have added to the mess on the floor only a minor further amount of confusion. I race to find that Tarzan, I'm thinking, remembering boyhood and home as they lament in the Mexican Saturday night bedroom. But the bushes and the rocks weren't real, and the beauty of things must be that they end. I wail on my cup of highball so much. They see I'm going to get drunk, so they all permit me and beseech me to take a shot of morphine, which I accept without fear because I am drunk. Worst sensation in the world to take morphine when you're drunk. The result knots in your forehead like a rock and makes great pain there warring in that one field for dominion and none to be had because they've cancelled out each other, the alcohol and the alkaloid. But I accept. And as soon as I begin to feel its warning effect and warm effect, I look down and perceive that the chicken, the hen, wants to make friends with me. She's walking up close with bobbing neck, looking at my kneecap, looking at my hanging hands, wants to come close but has no authority. So I stick my hand out to its beak to be pecked, to let her know I'm not afraid because I trust her not to hurt me. Really, which she doesn't. Just stares at my hand reasonably and doubtfully, and suddenly almost tenderly, and I pull away my hand with a sense of the victory. She contentedly chuckles, plucks up a piece of something from the floor, throws it away. A piece of linen thread hangs in her beak. She tosses it away, looks around, walks around the golden kitchen of time in huge nirvana glare of Saturday night, and all the rivers roaring in the rain, the crash inside my soul when I think of baby food and you watch the big adults in the room, the wave and gnash of their shadowy hands as they harangue about time and responsibility in a golden movie inside my own mind, without substance, not even gelatinous, the hope and horror of the void. Great phantoms screeching inside mine with the York photograph, the lork of the rooster, as he now ups and emits from his throat, intended for open fences of Missouri, explodes gunpowder bursts of morning shame, reverent for man. At dawn, in impenetrable black oceanities of undersunk gloom, he blows his rosy morn colario, and still the farmer knows it won't tend that rosy way. Then he chuckles, rooster chuckles, comments on something crazy we might have said, and chuckles, poor sentient notice being. The beast he knows his time is up in the chicken shacks of Lenox Avenue, chuckles like we do. Yells louder if a man with special rooster jowls and jinglets, hen his wife. She wears her adjustable hat falling from one side of her pretty beak to the other. Good morning, Mrs. Gazookas, I tell her, having fun by myself, watching the chickens as I'd done as a boy in New Hampshire in farmhouses at night, waiting for the talk to be done and the wood to be taken in. Worked hard for my father in the Pure Land, strong and true, went to the city to see Tadakata, leveled the ground for his feet, saw bumps everywhere, and leveled the ground. He passed by and saw me and said, First, level your own mind, and then the earth will be level, even unto Mount Sumeru, the ancient name for Everest in old Magadha, India. I want to make friends with the rooster too. By now, I'm sitting in front of the bed in the other chair as El Indio has gone out with a bunch of suspicious men with mustaches, one of whom stared at me curiously and with pleased, proud grin as I stood with cup in hand, acting drunk before the ladies for his and his friends' edification. Alone in the house with the two women, I sit politely before them, and we talk earnestly and eagerly about God. My friends is sick. I give them shot. Beautiful Tristessas of Dolores is telling me, with her long, damp, expressive fingers dancing like little India tinkle dances before my haunted eyes. Is when cuando my friend does not pays me back. I don't care, because, pointing up with a straight expression into my eyes, finger aloft, my Lord pay me, and he pay me more. More. She leans quickly, emphasizing more. And I wish I could tell her in Spanish the illimitable and inestimable blessing she will get anyway in Nirvana. But I love her. I fall in love with her. She strokes my arm with thin finger. I love it. I'm trying to remember my place and my position in eternity. I have sworn off lust with women, sworn off lust for lust's sake, sworn off sexuality and the inhibiting impulse. I want to enter the holy stream and be safe on my way to the other shore. But would as lief leave a kiss to Tristessa for her hark of my heart's sake. She knows I admire and love her with all my heart, and that I'm holding myself back. You have you life, she says to Old Bull, of whom in a minute, and I have mine, and Jack has his life, indicating me. She is giving me my life back and not claiming it for herself, as so many of the women you love do claim. I love her, but I want to leave. She says, I know it. A man and woman is dead when they want to be dead. She nods, confirms within herself some dark Aztecan instinctual belief. Wise, a wise woman, who would have graced the herds of Bikishunis in the very Yasodhara's time and made a divine additional nun, with her lidded eyes and clasped hands, a Madonna. It makes me cry to realize Tristessa has never had a child and probably never will because of her morphine sickness, a sickness that goes on as long as the need and feeds off the need and fills in the need simultaneously, so that she moans from pain all day, and the pain is real, like abscesses in the shoulder, neuralgia down the side of the head, and in 1952, just before Christmas, she was supposedly to be dying. Holy Tristessa will not be cause of further rebirth, and will go straight to her God, and he will recompense her multi-billion-fold in eons and eons of dead karma time. She understands karma, she says. What I do, I reap, she says in Spanish. Men and women have errors, faults, sins, faltas. Human beings sow their own ground of trouble and stumble over the rocks of their own false, arrowing imagination. And life is hard. She knows. I know. You know. But I willing to have junk, morphine, and be no sick anymore. And she hunches her elbows with peasant face, understanding herself in a way that I cannot. And as I gaze at her, the candlelight flickers on the high cheekbones of her face, and she looks as beautiful as Ava Gardner, and even better, like a black Ava Gardner, a brown Ava Gardner with long face and long bones and long lowered lids. Only Tristeza hasn't got that expression of sex smile. It has the expression of mock-faced, down-mouthed Indian disregard for what you think about its own pluperfuck beauty. But not that it's perfect beauty like Ava. It's got faults, errors, but all men and women have them, and so all women forgive men, and men forgive women, and go their own holy ways to death. Tristeza loves death. She goes on to the icon and adjusts flowers and prays. She bends over a sandwich and prays, looking sideways at the icon, sitting Burmese fashion in the bed, knee in front of knee, down, sitting. She makes a long prayer to Mary to ask blessing or thanks for the food. I wait in respectful silence, take a quick peek at El Indio, who is also devout and even on the point of crying. From junk, his eyes moist and reverent, and sometimes, like especially when Tristeza removes her stockings to get in the bed blankets, an undercurrent of reverent love sayings under his breath. Tristeza, oye, como te es bella. which is certainly what I'm thinking, but afraid to look and watch Tristessa remove her nylons for fear I will get a flash of her creamy coffee thighs and go mad. But El Indio is too loaded with the poison solution of morphine to really care and follow up his reverence for Tristeza. He is busy sometimes, busy being sick, has a wife, 2 children, down the other side of town, has to work, has to cajole stuff of Tristeza when he himself is out, as now, reason for his presence in the house. I see the whole thing popping and parenthesizing in every direction. The story of that house and that kitchen. In the kitchen is hanging pictures of Mexican pornography girls with black lace and big thighs and revealing clouds of bosom and pelvic drapery that I study intently in the right places. But the pictures, too, are all roiled and rain-stained and roll-spanned and hanging, protruding from the wall, so you have to straighten them down to study. And even then, the rain is misting down through the cabbage leaves above and the soggy cardboard. Who might have tried to make a roof for Valehina? My lord, he pay me back more